Hello, and welcome to Our World Empowered. As a tantric practitioner, I encounter a lot of misunderstanding around tantra and what tantra is and isn't. So today I just want to take, maybe 15 minutes, and talk about tantra and really speak to you from my heart. A lot of times when people hear the word tantra, they think about what's kind of whispered about in the shadows, or they think of like pop culture, or what has been reduced to just sexual techniques or sexual unions. Um, but the deeper ancient sacred path that tantra truly is what I want to talk about today. And hopefully that's enough to keep you interested. Um, but Tantra comes from the ancient Sanskrit language, and it's derived from two root words: tan, which means to stretch, to expand, to weave, and the tra, meaning instrument or tool or method. So together, Tantra is loosely translated to a tool for expansion or a framework for weaving, which I think that's the one that I prefer, because it seems to, well, both of them are very appropriate. Um, but these really reflect the core philosophy of expanding consciousness and really weaving together all aspects of life, the body, the mind, the spirit, the masculine, the feminine, into wholeness. Because we're all of those things, and we need to balance those things and honor all of those things. And historically, Tantra emerged in India around the 5th, 6th century. It influenced both the Hindu and the Buddhist spiritual traditions. Um, but I really wouldn't call it a religion. It's more of a spiritual way of being, of moving in the world. And Tantra, what I love about it is just this radical path of liberation, that includes the body, the emotions, sexuality, and everyday life as sacred and not as distractions from the divine, or as sins that keep us from the divine, but from doorways into the divine. And Tantra, at its core, is about love, but it's not the kind of love that we've been conditioned to chase, that chasing that perfect love, that performative love, that always pleasing love. um, but Tantra is more about a love that's raw, that's vulnerable, that's real, that's rooted in the truth of what is, not what it should be. And it's a path that says you're already whole. Nothing about you needs to be fixed or denied or suppressed or improved to be worthy of love. And Tantra teaches that love is not something to be earned or something to be performed or something that you need to seek externally to yourself. It's about our natural state, the knowing that we are love and that we emanate love. And in Tantra, love doesn't begin with the other person, it begins with a deep, radical self acceptance. And it really asks us, can you love the parts of yourself that are soft and tender and vulnerable? Can you love the parts that maybe have been judged or shamed or silenced? Can you sit with the sadness? Can you sit with your rage, with your fear, and not try to fix it? Because a lot of times we're in those emotions. We're like, oh, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to have fear. But what Tantra does is it just asks you to really feel all of that. And that's just the beginning of Tantra. It's that it's not escaping your humanity, the things that make you human, but really embracing them and loving them. Like, yes, sadness, I see you, I love you, I accept you. Fear, I see you, I love you, I accept you. You're a part of me. When people say I am depressed, I don't like that because it's a part of you. It's not all of you. And so just loving all of these parts and really embracing them and hearing what they have to say, it brings us back to the body, not as this object to perfect, but as like a sacred gateway, like to the divine. And through this conscious presence, we really return to the body as a temple. We honor every sensation, every breath, every emotion, as sacred. And we love them and we hold them. And rather than trying to avoid the discomfort or constantly chasing the joy or the bliss, Tantra invites us to embrace the full range of our experience, the grief and the joy, the contraction, the expansion, the fear, the pain, the pleasure, as really gateways to deeper intimacy with ourselves and then in turn with others. Because when we connect from this true authenticity, we're truly connecting at a soul level, not at a superficial, this is all you get to see of me, I've put on my masks level. And through our breath and through our sound and through our touch and our presence, we really reconnect with our sensuality. And by sensuality, I mean that we're able to experience fully, with this richness and this aliveness, everything around us. And it's not for performance, but to be alive. And your body, is not a problem. Your pleasure is not a sin. And in Tantra, every sensation is sacred, every emotion is a messenger, and every moment is really an invitation to wake up, to really be alive in everything. And we live in a world that kind of teaches us to disconnect, and even more so, as we get more in our phones, and we start to, even COVID disconnected us. But this disconnection, is strong for everyone, for women, for men, those who are marginalized or in larger bodies. But Tantra really invites you to come home. It invites you to embrace your body, this flesh, your curves, your scars, whether they're physical or emotional, and your longings, your desires. It's all holy and sacred. And in Tantra, there are no ugly people. There are no ugly bodies. We are all divine, created in the image of our Creator. And at its core, at its heart, Tantra is not just about sexuality, which is what some people think, but it's really about a union. The merging of opposites, the sacred weaving of your body and your spirit, and remembering that nothing is outside of this divinity. And Tantra doesn't ask you to feel good all the time. It just asks you to feel fully whatever it is that needs to be felt. If you need to feel grief, and don't be quick to rush into gratitude. If you need to feel the anger without collapsing into guilt for feeling angry. If you feel desire, like really feel the desire without sliding or being pushed into shame. And Tantra honors the full spectrum of emotion as necessary, as intelligent, as alive. The pleasure, the pain, the contraction, the expansion, these are all movements of the same life force energy. And when we stop labeling these parts of ourselves as good or bad or spiritual or unspiritual, we begin to experience a true integration, a true wholeness, a true oneness. And Tantra teaches about energetic polarities, like this divine dance between the masculine and feminine energies that exist within all of us. By masculine and feminine, I don't mean men and women, but these are energies within all of us. They're essences. And the masculine is the stillness, the witness, the container, the foundation. The masculine is presence, being able to hold things. And the feminine is more so the movement and the emotion and sometimes the chaos and the creative flow. The feminine is expression. And when these energies are in harmony within us and between us, we feel balanced, we feel magnetic, we feel alive. And Tantra teaches us to explore, when do I lead, in my masculine? And when do I soften and allow myself to be led, to receive? And that's not to say that only men are leaders. It's just when women lead, they're leading from their masculine energy. And when they allow themselves to receive, they are in their feminine energy. Same for men. When they are leading, they are in their masculine energy. When they are able to receive, they're in their feminine energy. And this really asks you to explore, can I give without collapsing? Can I receive without guilt? And true tantric love, really, really, really bubbles up and emerges when we're able to both give and receive, to penetrate with clarity and open with trust. From the penetration of the masculine and the opening of the feminine, and to lead and to surrender in sacred balance. And it's really reclaiming both of these energies and reclaiming our wholeness. And at its deepest level, Tantra is a path of oneness. It shows us that there's no separation between the sacred and the mundane, the body and the spirit, the lover and the divine. Every moment, every breath, every sensation is a doorway to God, to the goddess, to source, to the creator. And Tantra asks, can you meet life as it is? Not how we think it should be, but as it is, with your heart open, with your body grounded, and your soul truly alive. Because that is what you are. You're alive, you're sacred, you're worthy, and it's right now in this moment. And ultimately, Tantra is a path of oneness where every part of you and your path are welcome, wherever you are on that path. And where your aliveness really just becomes like an altar of your awakening, of really becoming alive. And so my invitation for you, whether you're new to this tantra path or you're returning home to it, just let I invite you to let tantra just kind of remind you, that you're not broken. You're perfect as you are. Your emotions are not too much. Your desires are not dangerous or sinful, and your body is not the enemy. It's the temple that you live in. And Tantra doesn't offer a quick fix. It offers us a sacred remembering, a returning to wholeness, to love, to your deepest truths. And in this moment, I'm just inviting you to say yes. Yes to not becoming someone else or trying to live someone else's life, but to becoming more of you, of who you authentically are. And so if you think that Tantra is a path for you, you can contact me. We can explore more. I can give you some book recommendations, to read more about it. And if you think that maybe this path is something that someone else could benefit, send them this video, maybe give them a little taste of what Tantra is and what it's not. Um, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I'm going to be talking more about some of the things that I talked about today. And if you hit the little bell, it'll notify you whenever I put out a new video. So yeah, so forward it on, and I would just invite you to really just get out there and just really like radically accept and love yourself and love each other and love what is, and just be fully alive in whatever it is. And so even if this is an introduction, even if this is where you get off the path, I'm glad you stayed with me till the end, and welcome to the path.